Well, we're here to give a little bit of a recap so far of the first half of our trip. We're in Chamberlain, South Dakota. We just left Sturgis this morning. We had the time of our lives, and I'm going to give you a little day-by-day blow of where we were, some of the highlights. We started out 2 weeks ago, July 31st, and we drove from Florida to Georgia, and we really didn't have any issues on our first traveling day. Second day, we went through Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama, and we stayed at a beautiful campground in Tuscaloosa. It was an Army Corps of Engineer, overlooked the lake, had our own private wooden deck. It was really, really lovely, and saw some deer on our way out early in the morning. That was kind of cool, so that was fun. It was really hot, though, so it was hard to enjoy ourselves outside because the temperatures were over 100. Our third day, we made it through Alabama, Tennessee, and into the tip of Arkansas. And again, no real problems other than the heat really wore us down. That campground, it was very nice, but it was so hot out that all we could do was set up our camper and then get under the air conditioning. We really couldn't enjoy it at all, but it was still very nice. On the fourth day, we finished going through Arkansas. We got into Missouri, and that was really fun. We got to stay at my friend Tammy's house in Colombia, who I've known for 25 years. I had met her in San Pedro Sula in Honduras, and we've stayed in touch. She has a lovely home. She made dinner for us. We got to know her son Doug, and we really had a good time. On our fifth day, we finished going through Missouri, crossed Kansas, spent a lot of time in Nebraska, and all I can say is that Nebraska, not only is it picturesque, but it's very, it gives a strong impression through your sense of smell. A lot of sheep and cows in that state. And we did have a little bit of a snafu. Somehow there was ants that laid eggs in our refrigerator, and I completely freaked out until we bought about 10 boxes of ant bait. And sixth day, we were getting really excited. We were getting through Sturgis, and we spent a second night in Nebraska, and we were at a very nice campground near Cabela's, and we started to see the bikes rolling in because we were only about 300 miles from Sturgis. And on our seventh day of travel, which was a Friday, we made it into Sturgis, and it just blew our socks off. Stayed at a great campground called Kathmandu. We were right in front of the highway, one stop away from all the action, and just kind of relaxed that night.
You want to keep going?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I'll just set them right over here.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
So we got in, thanks, got into Sturgis, kind of got settled, set up tent, and it was really nice to know that we were going to be somewhere for a whole, 10 nights, and we weren't going to be having to travel every day. So our first day in Sturgis was a Saturday. That was our 8th day, and I tried to walk every morning. That was to compensate for all the beer that I've been drinking at night, so I did get my walk in. And then we did our first ride of the rally, and we did a ride called Spearfish Canyon, and it was very picturesque, lots of turns, started meeting people really from all over the country, and just gotten really, really excited. We went to town that afternoon, and we started spending money. We got really good at spending money by the end of the trip in Sturgis. On our 9th day, staying in Sturgis, we were really excited. We had bought tickets in advance to this concert at a place called the Buffalo Chip, and this is the world-famous Buffalo Chip. It's probably as close to Woodstock as we're ever going to get in our lifetime. But it was probably, 20,000-25,000 people with a mixture of motorcycles, a great big outdoor venue stage, and we saw Creedence Clearwater Revival, we saw the Guess Who, and Mario was going apes because he met this really famous bike builder named Ron Finch, who happened to be there showcasing a really nice custom chopper.
From Michigan.
From Michigan. And Mario got to meet him and get his picture taken and an autograph, so he was a real groupie that night, but it was lots of fun. On Monday, after having a really good time, we went for a ride to a place called Devil's Tower, and that was all the way in Hewlett, Wyoming. And that was probably not the highlight of our rides, but it was kind of something you wanted to see and one of the suggested rides for Sturgis. What we tried to do was get up really early, hit the road by about 7:30, and ride maybe for 3, 4, 5 hours and then get back to the camp. And one of the neat things is that just from talking with people, we found out about a great place to have breakfast every morning. It was a little American Legion's, and maybe 10 minutes from the campground. They made homemade breakfasts. So actually, we didn't cook it all in Sturgis. We found the food to be really not expensive. By Tuesday, which was our 11th day, we did a nice long ride. It was through Custer State Park, and it was called Needles Highway and Iron Mountain. And very, very difficult and challenging ride. Lots of what we call, 180 switchbacks, going back and forth. There was a lot of people. I'd like to go back and do it again, not during Bike Rally Week, but again, since we got there early, it was okay. And we saw lots of wildlife that day. We saw little wild donkeys, and we saw buffalo, and that was really cool. So, now we're up to day 12, which was a Wednesday. Okay. That was probably the highlight. We went with our next door neighbors who we met were from Australia, Lyndon and Irene, a little small town in Australia, and we went to the Badlands. And it was a long day. It's a state park, and the Badlands are just what you would imagine, just acres and acres and acres of rocky formations and canyons and really dry but very picturesque, and it was hotter than hell, but we had a good time. And on the way back, we stopped at this tourist trap called Wall Drugs. It was kind of funny because as we were riding out to the Badlands, we saw maybe, 50 billboards that kept saying, Wall Drugs, Wall Drugs, Wall Drugs. So, of course, we had to see what Wall Drugs was. And it was just a conglomerate of stores and kind of a fun place to stop. So we did. On Thursday, day 13, we were really burned out from riding. We've been riding a couple hundred miles every day. So we went down to Main Street, and Mario got to work on his little video. So everybody make sure you check out YouTube, Parking in Sturgis, and that will be by my famous husband, Mario. And did some more shopping. We got new vests and just had a lot of fun with the crowds. They say that this Sturgis, the 70th, is the largest to date. There was 750,000 people, and you can imagine, just motorcycles, and you can imagine them all being compressed in a couple square miles. So on Friday, we went and did one of our favorite rides a second time, Spearfish Canyon. We tried to film it. Beautiful weather. That's one thing I have to say, we're really fortunate, because the weather in South Dakota can be very difficult, and we had really nice riding weather pretty much every day. And then my girlfriend Mary came in Friday night, and we just kind of hung out. Saturday, her husband John arrived and went for breakfast, and since the weather was not so terrific, and also because John had just ridden 500 miles from Colorado to meet us, we decided to go downtown with them. And that was nice to hang out with another couple. And so we did. On Sunday, which was our last day, our 16th day in Sturgis, yesterday, we really wanted to take advantage and do a nice long ride together with Mary and John. And we went and we did Mount Rushmore. And that's something that I wouldn't miss. It's just fantastic. Lots of history, very interesting. So we spent half the day at Mount Rushmore.
Crazy Horse.
And then we saw Crazy Horse. And then we went to a gold mine in Leeds, South Dakota, which had a lot of personal history for our friend John, because his aunt, he grew up in South Dakota, and his aunt used to run a bar, and she had a brothel upstairs. So we went and had a drink.
And she was a whore herself.
That's Mario's commentary. I don't think John would appreciate that very much. And then we came back to the camper, and we just did some grilling with some neighbors. We met some other people, Denise and Gail, who live in Florida, and we hope to see them again. So that brings us to today, which is our 17th day on the road, and it's a Monday, and we worked our way about 250 miles. We're starting to head east. We're going to be meeting the kids in Arkansa in a couple days, and we're in Chamberlain, South Dakota, in front of the Missouri River. Again, Mario's planning really panned out because we have a great campsite. It's beautiful, and that's all I have to say for now.